Yes, we are recording. Hey, everybody. It is 2/3 of the Triangle Truth. We got Jay and Jenna here, and I'm so excited to bring you guys two of our favorite people. As you can tell,
Whoa,
just a
those
little
are some
bit.
nice comic books.
I mean, look at the shirts. Like, yes, definitely. We're super excited. So they currently have a campaign going on Kickstarter for the latest issue for Hocus Hocus, and we are so excited.
Yep.
Yay!
Yes, we are.
And Jay has been talking to them through messaging and texting for quite some time now, so it's really cool that they all get to see each other.
And I don't care what Mike Teener says, you guys are great.
Yeah, well, he says we're great on camera, but as soon as we're off camera, that's when it's do better.
Yeah. Yeah, he is definitely, he does not mince words with us after the interviews. He's very very authoritarian. No, he's fun to work with.
So I guess the question I have, this is about Hocus Hocus chapter 3.
Okay.
What I want to know is, how did you go about choosing y'all's team? The Jason Smith on colors, Dave Lentz letters and designs, Brian Bellondo does the art, and I believe, is it Kit Wallace and Stephanie Mooney that's done covers for y'all?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and take the beginning part of this, Will, because you always answer the art part of it so much better than I do.
Okay.
So naturally, all of it kind of stemmed with Mike, and we appreciate him like crazy for pointing us in the right direction. So I'll go and talk about Jason. He sent us Jason's portfolio, absolutely loved it. And Mike and Jason worked together in the past, and Jason is just a knockout for everything that he does, and he's so easy to work with, and he gets it. And if we have an edit or anything, super quick about getting it back, it's seamless. So as far as Dave, I mean, Mike immediately put us in contact with Dave, and Dave and I have been close ever since. And I think, to Mike's dismay, that's probably one of the only decisions he regrets about sending us Dave, because Dave, for all of our quick whips back and forth, Dave has been instrumental to a lot of the stuff for Pocus, because even the little stuff that he does, like the lettering for Ivan, the lettering for Horace, just how everything flows, he was really a project manager. For issue 1, definitely, and lightly so for issue 2. Dave and I actually talked today, and he said, he kind of gave us the old dad speech. He was like, I'm really proud of you and Will, because you guys have come a long way from issue 1, because when I sent him the script for issue 3, he didn't have any edits. He said this is the best thing you guys have so far.
Wow.
Like, this is close to perfect. So we're that much more excited to get out there, because Dave is a very critical man, and he is not afraid to tell you, because he's putting his name on it. He wants it to be as good as possible. But yeah, so Dave actually hooked us up with Kit Wallace, because at the time for Pocus 1, we needed variant covers, and Kit's just Kit. You guys see all the stuff that he does with Garrett, and
I love his stuff.
We are so happy. And we're actually working with Kit here soon on something else that we'll leave under wraps. So we're really excited for it.
Take my money now.
I know, right? Yeah. So and Stephanie
it.
Mooney, her and I actually we live in the same town. Her husband and I were best friends. And Steph and I used to work together at GameStop. I was actually her boss, which is funny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, Steph and I, we've always stayed close. We've been friends for years, and she's always done art on the side, and this was her first comic book cover. Ooh. And we decided to definitely utilize her for about, if you see a Pocus campaign, expect to see something from Stephanie going forward.
Nice. That's amazing.
And Mark Mervita, Brian actually put me in contact with him. He's the one that did our movie theater type ones. Okay. So yeah, the one that's right beside the main cover for issue 2. And Jay, you saw the cover for issue 3 that has like kind of, it looks like the Conjuring stuff, and at the bottom it has like Bad Bug Productions, Alan and Will stuff. So yeah, that's really the team. And I do also have to give a huge shout out to Edward. He was the one that did the really trippy looking cover that doesn't have any. Cool. Yeah, it doesn't have.
I love that. That's one of my favorite variant covers we have yet.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So what I will say about Edward, he incredible from a standpoint of he messaged me and said he did not want to use blacks at all in this thing.
Okay.
And after
Yeah.
you looked at that cover, it's like, wow. I mean, you did it because he wanted
Really
it to
cool.
stand out so much further than everything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Okay.
It's really cool.
I'm done talking. We'll talk about
We have
Brian
to come
Bolano.
back because I've actually started a GameStop support group.
Okay.
Where we all talk about our horror stories. So we got to
Yes.
come back at another day and time.
Oh, listen, I can bring in a couple my other friends
Yes.
and you guys. Oh, I mean, I would say you have no idea, but you probably do.
I do 2
So-
years all the way up
Yeah.
till assistant manager. Yeah.
I have
Right.
I have no experience with that, but Alan and I did work at Blockbuster, back in the day, and that was a great time.
All right, Will.
I love it. A great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Bolando. Talk about that man.
Brian Bolando is an incredible artist, and we are really, really lucky to have been paired with him. But the thing that's so incredible about his work, I always say that it has like a silent movie vibe to it. Like you can piece together the story even without text or dialogue, and the images just stand on their own as works of art. Like some of the panels even, like I look at them and I think, man, that could be like a piece in a museum, just singular.
Yeah.
But and really this whole, I just, to take that further and just to, with the whole team in general, we really lucked out. And I think a big reason why we lucked out so much is because we got a team that pays attention to details. And so when I go back even and read these issues, I notice stuff that I haven't noticed before, and I think that readers hopefully will have that experience as well. But we just got a really awesome, motivated, detail-oriented team, and it's a great project to be a part of. It's every bit as much fun to write as it hopefully is to read. So
It is so much fun to read.
My
Yes.
goodness. Like,
awesome.
so how I found out about it was I was talking to Dave. We've noticed that Dave pretty much letters almost every Kickstarter comic we get.
Yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Because
Dave
I
is
talked to
everywhere.
Dave, probably easily like once a day. Like we have our morning, like because Dave's up at like 3 a.m. I feel like, and I'm always up early for
When does
work
he
and
sleep?
everything.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He
letters.
doesn't. I swear to God, he doesn't.
Just letters.
Can confirm, right?
And he ended up he sent me a list of all these comics he was working on Kickstarter, because I joked with him. I said, dude, leave something for somebody else.
I know, right? He's just going to monopolize the lettering market here soon.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm looking through it and I see Hocus Hocus. So I clicked on that and I looked through it and I read the little panels that were on the Kickstarter, and I was like, dude, I got to get this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, it's amazing. The
Thank you.
coolest thing about the book, other than the humor, because I think you guys are hilarious. I think the humor is
Thank you.
Yes.
but it's the way that there's no color until there's magic around or the demon is around. I love that about the book. I love how those colors just pop,
Yeah.
because
Thank
the rest
you.
of it's
Yeah.
black and white until
Mhm.
the magic or the demon's around. I love that. Like, what made y'all decide to do something like that? Was that one of y'all that decided, or was that like?
Yeah. So I mean,
it's something that we both talked about a little bit, and I just something to say something about that really quick. I mean, I think that the splashes of color and the pops of color, I think I feel like we balance that out really well, because even though that's a tactic that is used in a lot of different comics and a lot of different art mediums, it can feel gimmicky if it's not used in the right way. So I think that hopefully having that anchor there, where it's like, okay, every time there's magic or demonic magic or hellish magic,
Yeah.
that's when the collar comes in. I think having that logic there sort of helps that stylistic choice along. I was just thinking about that earlier today.
Beautiful.
I wanted to put that out.
yeah, because we took a calculated risk by telling the story how we did. So it's our first comic book, and Will and I we battled with thinking, okay, do we Quentin Tarantino this? Do we tell it from the end, and then you're watching a Lifetime movie, you may be wondering how I got here.
Yeah.
So we,
Record
do we
scratch.
yeah, record scratch Pocus. You may be wondering how I got here. So do we do something like that, or do we just hope people stick with it? And do we hope it's good enough that we can just tell this is our beginning and we're going forward? We want to tell it linearly, and we want the action to make sense in the comic book and the context of everything. It was something that Will and I we didn't notice until we went back and reread it. And I talked about it with you, Jay. Pocus doesn't use magic in issue 2 until the very end.
Yep.
Did he need to? Like, do we already? The reader already knows that he can do this thing, and when the natural progression of everything, it didn't move the story forward for us to have him do this bombastic thing, because the idea was that the demon was really in control of his show, and the demon was the one that is going to have the magic in there. That's why we had fireworks exploding at the end of the box whenever people come out of it and stuff.
Demon Dave.
Oh
yeah,
my
old
gosh.
Demon Dave.
That
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
great. That was so great.
Oh, man, that is-
So I do have to know, what made you choose a bunny?
Will?
Oh man, well, okay, so probably just the traditional rabbit out of the hat thing.
Mhm.
Okay.
We talked about that, and we wanted to do something. I mean, of course, it's one of those things where it's been done a million times, but it has to find its way in there somewhere if it's a humorous series. So that evolved. That was actually something that evolved over time, and that's a great example of how you make discoveries while you write and while the project is being built, because we had a bunny rabbit appear in the first issue that that Pocus summons for like a little girl, and we just when we got that page back, we were like, just that
Yeah.
the whole page, but especially landing on that panel, we were just like, this is like magnetic. So we started talking about well, what if we for some of the promotional things, we used a pink bunny as our mascot. Then his name was Horace.
Yeah.
Alice, or excuse me, Alan.
Thanks.
Yeah, combination between Alan and Horace. Alice now.
Yeah.
Alan, he started calling him Horace, and I loved that idea. The play on it's both the Eye of Horus and there's an actual name, Horace.
Yeah.
So I think it was pretty much the name. The bunny was always there just as a general archetype magic trick thing, but the Horace character came into play as we were building it, and just built himself as a character almost.
Yeah, so it's funny too, because Will and I are always forward thinking. I want to say it's to a good degree, but sometimes it hurts us, because we're always thinking 3 issues ahead on how is this going to make sense going forward. But what really did us in with Horace was the second cover that Kit made with Horace popping out of the hat. That we actually went back in and rewrote the script to make Horace fit a little bit more than what we had him in already, because that's really what solidified it for us. So even before Brian had the script for 2, we had the variant cover from Kit, and that was what really did it. With we have to give this bunny enough showtime to make it worth it. We didn't want to oversaturate it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You don't want it to. It's like one of those things where it's a cool mascot, but then you're like, well, we don't want it to be too gimmicky. But then it's the more we talk about it, it's like, no, it's not a gimmick. Now it's a character.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
In Stabbity Bunny, it just ended up being its own character by the end of it.
Yep.
I have a small confession before we say our goodbyes. When I was a teenager, I actually had over 300 rabbits at one point.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So, I was in 4-H, and I did this for 4-H, and I was the top rabbit breeder of the Tri-County area. Any little kid who wanted to start doing rabbits for 4-H would come to my ranch, pick out a couple of rabbits, and then I would send them on their way, and then they would try to compete against me at 4-H. So it's like bunnies, and I'm like, oh, there's
Please tell me that's how you start
people.
every conversation off when you meet somebody new.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I'm like, bunnies.
Bunnies are
Or
lost.
stickers. No, stickers.
Stickers.
Oh,
Yep.
stickers.
Stickers.
Anytime I meet anybody new and they have something that they want to show off, I'm like, is there stickers?
Yeah, show me stickers.
Give
or
me
give
stickers
death.
or give me death.
I'm also into stickers. I mean, you know, like this is just a recent thing too. But yeah, I've been trying to collect them a little bit more and fill up the back of my MacBook. So
Oh my God.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
have a whole pantry.
Yeah.
Jay will have to send you pictures after this so you can see, because it's not just Kickstarters, it's also little bitty small things that are just around us. And I'm like,
Yep.
give me your stickers. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've only got a few minutes left, guys. Tell everybody where they can find you, and then we'll definitely put the links down below.
Okay. Yeah. So you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Chaps of Fury, or you can find us through our Kickstarter campaign, which is linked directly to the Pocus Hocus comic at gmail.com.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome.
You can,
Well, last thing I'm gonna say before I'm gonna let you
hang
talk.
on.
Will, I
Where's
promise.
Will?
I'm
No, Will,
gonna
we don't even know
let
where
you
to
talk.
find
Well,
you.
I just have to get this out because this is the first time us being able to see each other, you know, face to screen to face. Again, for this being y'all's first comic,
Yeah.
guys, this is so great,
Thank you.
and I hope this goes on for a while.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Honestly, now that I cut you off, we'll go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. Well, I mean, we fully intended to, you know, and we're developing, you know, future plans for Pocus, of course, finishing up this arc, but then we're talking about future arcs, and
Yes.
we've got a lot of exciting ideas, and I think that
A lot of stuff you don't think you're going to expect either. We try
Yeah.
to take it in some crazy directions.
Good.
yeah, there's some interesting things coming, and I think that I think the fans are going to be happy. But just as far as the social media stuff goes, my Instagram is willrad82, WILLRAD82, and my Vimeo account is if you want to check out my film and video work, is www.vimeo.com/willrad, WILLRAD. So
Awesome.
Perfect. And I always have to do this for everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have
Hey,
a good
no,
night.
thank you guys. Thank everybody.
Bye.
great. Thank you. Thanks.